Let's talk about something that is pretty much every homeowner's worst nightmare, a burst pipe. It's one of those disasters that requires you to think fast, and this guide is going to get you ready for exactly that. So let me ask you a question. When you think of a total home disaster, what comes to mind? Fire, right? Maybe a big storm. But what about a threat that could be lurking inside your walls right this very second? What's one of the single most expensive headaches you can possibly face as a homeowner? Yup, it's a burst pipe. This one problem can completely disrupt your entire life and rack up thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars in damage. And it all kicks off with one little failure in your home's plumbing. Okay, let's dive right into this unseen threat. Pipes are mostly out of sight and out of mind, right? But the danger they pose is very, very real. Figuring out why they fail is really the first step in preventing a total catastrophe. Pipes don't just burst for no reason. The number one culprit, especially in colder climates, is freezing water. See, when water turns to ice, it expands, and that creates this incredible pressure inside the pipe. But it's not just the cold. Aging plumbing can get corroded, sudden spikes in water pressure can add a ton of stress, and any pipes that are in unheated areas, like a crawl space, well, they're at risk all the time. Now, let's talk about the money, because this is where a tiny leak can balloon into a huge financial problem. The real pain of a burst pipe isn't just about fixing the pipe itself. Oh no. That emergency call you have to make to a plumber, think of that as just the cover charge. The water itself is what sends the cost skyrocketing. The moment it gets out of that pipe, it starts a really destructive chain reaction. This really shows you that domino effect perfectly. Water just soaks into everything. Your drywall gets soggy and crumbles, wood floors warp, insulation becomes totally useless, and your personal belongings? They can be ruined. Then, within just a few days, mold can start to grow, and that requires expensive professional remediation. In really bad cases, you could be looking at actual structural repairs and even having to pay for a hotel for a while. Okay, enough of the scary stuff. Let's shift gears and talk about the solution. If the worst does happen, you need a clear, immediate action plan. What you do in the first few minutes is absolutely critical. Here they are, the 4 critical steps. First, and this is the most important one, shut off your home's main water valve to stop the flow. Second, if water is getting anywhere near electronics, turn off the power at the breaker box, but only if you can do it safely. Third, call a licensed plumber right away. And finally, while you're waiting, you can try to contain the leak with a bucket or a towel, but please avoid any big DIY fixes that could just make things worse. So now we know how to react. Let's talk about how to be proactive. Because the real win here is stopping the disaster before it ever has a chance to begin. It's an old saying, but it is so true in this case. Taking preventative steps is hands down the most effective way to protect your home and your wallet from water damage. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. At-risk pipes are uninsulated, they're sitting in cold spaces, and they're often old and just ignored. Protected pipes, on the other hand, are insulated, inspected regularly, and made of modern, durable materials. Your goal is pretty simple. Get all your plumbing out of that at-risk column and into the protected one. So here's your game plan. Before winter rolls in, go and insulate all those exposed pipes. Seal up any gaps in your foundation that are letting cold air sneak in. Don't forget to drain your outdoor lines. And here's a great little trick for an extreme cold snap. Letting one faucet drip slowly can keep water moving and help prevent a freeze. And, critically, take a look at your insurance policy now so you know exactly what is and what isn't covered. And here's a cool piece of modern tech to add to your defense: a smart leak detector. It's a small device that sends an alert straight to your phone the second it senses water. The best ones can even shut off your main water valve automatically, which can turn a potential disaster into, well, a minor inconvenience. All right, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's bring it all together and really focus on the most important takeaways from all of this. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It's not about luck, it's about being prepared. A clear plan, a quick response, and getting professional help are the 3 things that will absolutely save you from the worst-case scenario. So, your path to peace of mind really has 3 main steps. First, have your emergency action plan ready to go. Second, really understand what your insurance policy covers. And third, make prevention a totally normal, non-negotiable part of your annual home maintenance routine. And we'll just end on this. After everything we've talked about today, just take a second and ask yourself, Is my home really ready? Because the answer could be the difference between a minor repair and the major, major disaster. Thanks for listening.